what's your association with Silverburn?
So it probably goes back about 20-25 years, when we used to bring the kids to visit my mum and dad in Leven. Probably walking distance from here, but I think we did bring the car most of the time. And we used to bring the kids just to play and, have a wander around, climb trees and create chaos. And they were quite young at the time, obviously, but we just used to like the outdoors and taking them places. So that's really the association.
Tell me about your parents' association, because they'll be linked again to your memories.
Yeah, so they've lived in Leven since, well, they moved here in 1963. And my dad worked in Leven. He was a dentist, and they were here until 2009, 2020. So I was really brought up in Leven until I left to go to university. And then once the kids were born, we used to come back on a fairly regular basis to visit them, and we're always looking for things to do with the kids just to get them out, and this is one of the places we used to enjoy coming to. My strongest memory, I'd have to admit, is of the squash courts, and how unusual it was to have squash courts so close to where my parents lived and be able to go and play, because at the time I did enjoy squash. I remember watching my dad play squash here. He only played twice in his life, but he did play here with some friends, and I played a few times, I guess. But that was because it was so unusual having it in a country park, or a park close to where we were living. It's a strong memory. Typical squash court, I guess. I do remember the changing rooms. There was like a balcony where you could look down upon people playing squash. So one of my old school friends, a guy called Jeff Lockhart, who's on the board here, I think he might be chairman now, he got in touch. I left my job to kind of go into pre-retirement at the end of December, and I was looking for what comes next, I suppose. Jeff got in touch and said, why don't we have a chat about coming to work with us. So we did, and he also mentioned his involvement with Silverburn, because he does know I've been here. And he said, would I be interested, because he feels they're looking for a marketing input into the board, because they don't really do any marketing as such, and there's no marketing plan or anything. So he asked me if I'd be willing to get involved, which because it's part of Leven, I guess, and I spent all my childhood here, and I'm looking for involvement in a voluntary capacity, but I'd also like something relevant to what I've been doing for the past 40 years, and it ticked all those boxes. Yeah, so over 40 years working in marketing, sales and commercial roles throughout a number of different industries, I guess. Started off really in print, moving towards marketing agencies based around the Edinburgh area, and then laterally I was working in data with Experian. So really a mixture of marketing, sales and commercial roles. And I think that would be useful if the plan for the park, which I know it is to bring a more commercial feel to it, and see how they can develop the park, understand their customers, create revenue opportunities, and really just develop it for the local area, but possibly beyond that. There's things here which would be attractive to overseas customers. So yeah, it's just looking at the opportunities, working with the existing board and management, and trying to create a bit more of a structure to the marketing activity and plans.
It's slightly going over what you've just said. Is what skills, and I know what you're talking about totally, but trying to get in one section, what skills that you have can you see that they don't have, or that can lead directly to really things that they really do need. I don't know how you put that, but I think, if I'm thinking about if we interviewed you down the line, these are, they really do, looking at the organised, they really do need them. But if you can put that in a bit of a nutshell, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so, yes. So I'd be keen to, and we need to discuss this with the board obviously, but be keen to develop a marketing plan, an actual formal structured marketing plan, talking about who we want to aim, which type of visitors we want to attract, what we're going to offer them, how we would then promote the park to these people, how we develop long-term relationships, which is really the focus of what I've been doing all my working life with large companies, and then create a structure or a framework for taking the park forward and developing it over time, and leaving, I hate the word legacy, but leaving something behind that they can then take forward with the park, and creating a sounder basis, I guess. We're trying to attract visitors, we're trying to develop pricing which would be attractive to them and work for the park. So it's no different in that sense. It is commercial. It's just a slightly different framework in terms of the community, and we're looking to build something for the community, I guess, at the same time. What I would really like to do is develop the marketing plan, get the existing board to contribute to it and buy into it, and so we get an understanding of who we're looking to attract here, what type of things they'd be interested in. There's obviously the plans on what we'll have, but that's fairly wide-ranging, and from what I understand, the activities in terms of the accommodation and the catering and the events will can appeal to a wide range of people. So maybe that works, or maybe we need to fine-tune that to certain types of people, but I think that's not really going to develop until we get something more structured and the building's complete, so we can see what it's like and start to plan then.
How important is this for Fife? Why is it important?
Possibly not Fife, but certainly this part of Fife, the Leavenmouth area. I've seen an awful lot of change over the time that since I first moved here back in the 60s. It was actually quite prosperous for a while when the oil was here, and they were building oil rigs off the coast in Methil, and it went downhill obviously for quite a long time. It's now been regenerated, and I think this is part of that regeneration really, in bringing some employment opportunities, some life, bringing people in, showing them a part of this part of Fife which is really attractive and can be interesting, and building an identity for this part of the county.
What was Leven like as a place to grow up? When you were growing up, can you think how Leven was itself? Was it a good place to grow up?
Yeah, when I was growing up, yeah, no, absolutely. It was a really nice place. We used to walk to school. It was about a mile. Me and my friends, just by ourselves, from the age of 5 or 6. You don't get that anymore. It had a train station at the time. We used to walk that way. There were lots of different things to do. It did get redeveloped in the sense that they had the swimming pool and the leisure centre, which was built in the time, after I came here. And then it probably after I left, I guess, but I used to come back on a regular basis to see my parents, but a lot of the young people were leaving, definitely. It became quite an old town. And I would hope that's changing now. I don't know if it is or not, but I would certainly hope with the train station, for one thing, they attract younger families and they can commute. But yeah, when I was growing up, yeah, a really nice place to grow up in. Probably changed, hopefully changing back again. Yeah, I think, if I go back to when I was growing up, people used to come on their holidays to Leven. They would stay in the caravan site down by the water. My wife used to come on holiday to Leven. She used to go to Crail. She used to go along the coast when she was growing up. And it was a proper holiday destination for people living in Edinburgh or Glasgow. And that kind of disappeared over the years, I think. People still came, but nothing like the same volumes of people. And I think if you have Silverburn and it's it's what it looks like it could be, that becomes a major attraction then. There's things to do here, there's a place to go, there'll be a really nice restaurant, there'll be opportunities for golfers to get preferential tea times, to come here as well. And if it's marketed correctly, it really can add to the value of coming to Leven as a destination. Perhaps not on its own, but as part of the wider Levenmouth area or East Neuk area. They were living in Glenrothes at the time. They met at university in St Andrews.
So they're rooted in the area.
Yes,
really,
very much so.
Were they very happy to be in Leven? They stayed here for a long time. Was it a happy place for them?
Yeah, I think so, by and large. Yeah.
Did they put roots into the community?
Yeah. My dad was a dentist here, so he knew everybody. My mum was a justice of the peace for a while. She did a lot of voluntary work around about the Levenmouth area. Well, the big attraction, when Jeff mentioned it, and I didn't really know anything about it, I knew Silverburn Park, obviously. I did not know about the regeneration project. He said it's a £10 million regeneration project for Silverburn Park, and that got my interest. Because you think, what on earth could they do with Silverburn Park with that much money? Lots. So I was really interested to find out more. So he arranged a meeting with Duncan, chief exec, and we had a long chat with Duncan. It's really, really interesting what they're planning to do. I'd like to be able to help with that, and I think if it's done well, it could be a major asset for the community around here.